Are you ready to join me in transforming fear to freedom? That's the objective of the show. Are you ready to explore with me and my guests? Are you ready to get into the deep and play? This is where it's at, and that's what it's all about. No medical advice here. Use discernment and decide for yourself if the information is right for you. All views and opinions expressed on this show belong to the individual and are not necessarily shared with the producer of the show. Want more details? Go to letsgetrealchattinwithcatherine.com. Now let's get real and have some fun. Who are we going to explore with today? Come on with me and let's get into the deep.
And welcome back to Let's Get Real Chattin with Catherine. I am absolutely delighted to be able to be having a chat with Debbi Dachinger. And she is an absolutely amazing, inspiring woman. And a quote from her: "Your dreams are your soul's way of communicating with you. Is 2014 the year to live your dream or bust?" That's what she's asking. And we got into this chat today to really explore what the regular people can do to really live their dreams. And Debbi is a very grounded woman. She has got some major accomplishments in her life, which we're going to talk about, and we're going to find out more about how you can get this information. You know, it's all there. And Debbi's got some amazing information free on her website, which you can get at debbidachinger.com. And I always want to say Dachinger, but it's Dachinger, DACHINGER. So, .com. So you can check out her website to get more. She's got a couple of really good books, Wisdom to Success, and the first bestseller was Dare to Dream, This Life Counts. Awesome. She's an award-winning international bestseller. She's also got 2013 Motivation Book Award of the Year from the National Independent Excellent Awards, which is no small feat. She has more information about Debbi on what's cooking on the Let's Get Real Chattinwithcatherine.com. You can listen to Debbi's radio show. You can check out her YouTube channel. You can also, aside from her books, you can take her teleseminars, which is very cool. And we're going to get into all of this with her, but I think it's just absolutely awesome that she has taken the time to be with me today to share this information with you and help empower you to know that you're not alone and there's tools available. So we're going to get into this chat right now. No sense delaying. Oh, boy. Welcome back to Let's Get Real Chattin with Catherine. It's my absolute pleasure to be sitting down with Debbi Dachinger, and she is a absolutely amazing woman. She has completed so many awesome goals of her own, and that is her big mission, it sounds like, and we'll get into the whole conversation with her, but she is a goal-oriented woman, and she has found some tips and tools, and she shares that with you and with me, and she shares it online in an award-winning radio show, Dare to Dream, which is awesome. So you can get tips from her for free. You can connect with her in that way, but you can also work with her, and we're going to find out more about that. She's also an author, has some amazing books out there, 2 books that I know of, Wisdom to Success and Dare to Dream, This Life Counts, which I can so resonate with that. So welcome, Debbi.
Thank you, Catherine. I'm really happy to be here with you, and thanks for that beautiful intro.
I am so thrilled to be chatting with you. It's been a couple of years since we met in person at a seminar we were at, but it was a busy seminar, and we really never had the chance to chat personally. So I'm feeling like this is the chat that was meant to happen, and I'm thrilled to be doing it with you today.
It just needed to gel and percolate till it was time to come out in public.
That's right. So we both had our energy at that right level. And you, Debbi, are a high-energy woman. I have watched your videos and listened to some of your radio programs, and, boy, you really get motivated. You really bring out the best in yourself, which, just listening to your shows makes a person feel like they want to get up and do something. So I love that high energy.
Thank you. I think that's actually a key right there, and the reason why I come off that way is because I really love it. Mm-hmm. If you caught me doing something that I didn't love doing, you would see a completely different person and a completely different energy. And guess what? I know what that's like because I've had jobs like that before. Right. We all have, where we've worked in places and spaces where, it really didn't resonate with who we were and who we came here to be. And it's just so much struggle and unhappiness and all of that. But yes, I really, really love being a media personality. I love talking about dreams and goals. But much more than that, I kind of dig people a lot. So for me to be, whether it's teleseminars and I've got a lot of people on the phone, or it's the radio show and I've got 1 million people, or if it's, I'm speaking and doing a keynote and I can feel the audience and see their faces, it really excites me and it makes me feel so good when I see the light turn on for people. And I know that they're going to leave just from those moments that we got to spend together, or an hour, and something's going to be different. Something I said, something we engaged in is going to make a difference for them. And man, that's everything. Yes,
it is. And it's so obvious that you, this is a sacred gift for you. Because when you feel that way and about what you're doing that's called work, it's not work, it's play. And
yes.
And that's, I think, is a real key. But was it always like this, Debbi? Because you're saying that, you didn't always have that kind of energy or doing something you didn't like. And for people listening today, and I encourage them to go to Let's Get Real Chattin with Catherine.com, go to the website and read about Debbi on what's cooking on the What's Cooking page, because Debbi has accomplished a great deal, and you're very young and you're and beautiful, and so that's great. But to have also accomplished all these things is like, whoa, awesomeness. But so did it start that way? Were you born with one of those silver spoons, or did you have to discover this like the rest of us?
I had to discover it, and I feel more than discover, I had to uncover. I feel like I already came here with the sense of wanting to play a really big game. And definitely my makeup is about being with a lot of people as opposed to one-on-one, although I've done coaching, and that's nice. But I do love the big mass kind of appeal. And the uncovering was because I was going in all these directions, and I did everything. I did the contract work, the secretarial work. I worked in the space industry. I worked in restaurants as a waitress. I'm trying to think of all the jobs. Probably there were a lot of them, and sometimes because I got let go very quickly. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. One thing I had was a tremendous amount of savvy, and I had a lot of willingness to adapt. When you have a street sense, and I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth, but I definitely had a street sense. I think when you sometimes come from an extremely dysfunctional family, one of the things you can acquire is you can read people, you can figure out what's a necessity to survive, and you start emulating that.
Right. That's a really good point. When some people think that a person who's really successful had it all handed to them, but I think you're making a perfect point, because there's a lot of us who came from somewhat dysfunctional at one level or another, some worse than others, but still, you're right. We do, you develop, you learn because you want to survive. So what's going to work and what's not. But sometimes people don't take those tools and know enough how to apply them to their greater lives, like to have success. They learn them to survive in their families maybe, or in the school system somewhat, to function, but they ultimately will look for, and I'm not saying everyone, but a lot of people look for that job with security and not follow necessarily their passion, which is their, like you said, you came here with this sense of bigness that you had gifts to offer the world. And I'm not saying that a person who's digging ditches or cleaning toilets for a living, those can be also your gift. If you're doing it because you just love it, then that's perfect, because we need everybody, right? We need all pieces of the puzzle. But how do you feel about, like, when a person doesn't have that understanding like you did of the bigness and taking your street smarts to apply them? Is that the kind of person that you coach?
Absolutely. And I want to make sure I understand your question. So is the question about somebody who doesn't know how to get out of a job situation to do what they prefer, or is the question about they don't know what they prefer?
Well, sometimes I think it's both, but it's more actually my question, sorry for the confusion, I do tend to do the long question, but is more about a person who hasn't understood yet what you did, which is, hey, I came from a somewhat dysfunctional family, and in that, here's the gifts I learned, so that they can apply, so that they don't see them as the negative.
Perfect. Got it. Let me tell you, for all of us who have come from that place, there is a genius and a brilliance. So I know it's easy to look at what we didn't receive. However, what we did receive was an education and a sort of beingness that most people will not acquire, and it really makes us incredibly savvy and very genius at figuring things out much quicker than other people, and doing whatever it takes, adapting, shifting, and all of that. Now, if you're in a place that you don't prefer, I have no judgment about that, because sometimes it's important to maintain that while you're busy creating on the outside something you do prefer until that becomes financially sustainable. I also recommend one bottom line, because we are all so different and there's not one solution, but there is one answer. All of us can feel what feels good and what feels not good. In other words, what's light or what's dark energetically. So if something presents itself to you, just sense, like, how do you feel about it? Does it excite you? Because if you follow excitement, it will lead you places you can't even imagine. If it makes you feel light and juicy, do it. Mm-hmm. Now, we don't have to have all the answers, because some of my journey absolutely has been that things were presented to me at a time when I wasn't even seeking it. And I didn't have a sense of, oh, I'm going to go do this for the rest of my life. But because it was so exciting, I did it. So as an example, I was a motivational speaker, and I was presenting these workshops. And in the middle of that, and I was in a very joyful place doing it. I really enjoyed it. I loved the audiences, and I loved the results. And literally out of nowhere, I got a phone call from a director who said a producer had recommended me to him. He had a cartoon, and they had a very prominent celebrity who was doing the lead voice. She had to drop out because of some contract issue. She was on television. And he said, yeah, we're going to have to interview people. We're going to have to audition them really quickly because we're a little behind the eight ball. I have a couple of people being recommended, and a producer recommended you. Can I send you the script? Are you interested in auditioning? Now, on the outside, I smiled and said, oh, sure, absolutely, send it to me. But the bubble over my head was, oh, my God, I've never done a voiceover in my life. Right. I can't even believe this is coming to me. And when I read the script, it blew my mind. It was the most, come on, it's a cartoon. Who doesn't love a cartoon?
Exactly.
It was the most joyful thing just reading it. And then I had that sense like, oh, I'll kill for this part. I want to do this. Mm-hmm. And as it turned out, first timer, I figured it out. I auditioned, didn't get a laugh, and that wasn't good because she was a funny character. I said, I have one more read, and he allowed me to do it, all on the telephone, by the way, and I made him laugh out loud.
Oh, my goodness.
Nobody brought what you did. They hired me. I was in the studio doing the voiceover. They found out I sang. They said, oh, my God, we're going to hire a professional singer. Can we write the song for you? Absolutely. I got to sing. I mean, it was so joyful. So, could I have anticipated that? Not in my wildest dreams. But I followed the light energy, the joy energy, mm-hmm. And if I had not done that cartoon, I would never have ended up in radio. So you don't know what paths are going to open up.
Wow, that right there, that's amazing. That's right there. I mean, the fact that you said yes to yourself, that's what I'm hearing, is you said yes to yourself when you were doing motivational speaking. And sometimes what we do is something comes to us that we haven't done before. We don't even look at it. It's like, well, I don't do voiceovers. I don't, yes, I'd love to do it. You get yourself ahead of yourself and start doing yes, that would be really exciting, but I'd have to take a course and I don't have money and I can't do, and that's the sabotage. But what you are explaining so deliciously is just yes, send it to me. You just opened yourself up so beautifully and everything else fell in.
Everything fell in.
I just
yes.
love that.
And what if we already knew more than we ever gave ourselves credit for? What if all we need to do in life is not live in a conclusion, if I do this, this will happen, X, Y, Z? What if all we really need to do is stay in the question of, if I go here, what will that experience be like? And just feel what that energy is. And for anyone who doesn't even understand the translation of energy, if you walk on the planet, you certainly understand there are certain people you'll meet and you feel immediately really good and comfortable with, and certain people you meet, I really don't want to spend much time with them. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like that. Anything that comes your way, you have a feeling and a sense. And if you were to start to trust that constantly, it will always lead you on the path that is best and right for you in particular. Okay, so you are, when you said, and I know I forget the exact term, but you're a goal person. You help people to set goals and to achieve them. So, which is very cool. But I'm hearing I'm hearing two things then, because you didn't set a goal to be a voiceover singer in a cartoon. You didn't set a goal in that way. So, and you're saying living in that question of how does this feel? So I kind of feel like I want to get a little bit specific on this. Do you have to, because a lot of people have a hard time with that. I don't know what I want to do, so how do I set a goal? Or, if I pick a goal and then I have all of these things I have to do to reach it, and what you're not only saying, but I can feel in the example is you didn't set that goal specifically to that, but you did seem to have maybe an internal goal of success or a feeling, or maybe how would you explain the difference between that specific goal and what you're doing? What a yummy, yummy thing to ask. I appreciate you requesting that clarity. I think overall, I know and can sense that my mission, if you will, or one of the reasons why I've chosen to be here is to lead and to inspire. And if that's my umbrella, then many, many, many things can come under that. There can be many ways that will manifest, if you will. And that's fantastic because I'm not married to any one thing. It can unfold in many ways and still resonate. The other thing is I really came and I really feel inspired to have fun. Mm-hmm. And, if that's a mission, then what a great mission, because life can be a lot of work if that's your choice, or it can be a lot of fun, or it can be a nice balance of both. And I am a hard worker, and I'm a hard worker because I love what I do. I don't always love the background work, mm-hmm. but I do it because when I'm with people and when I'm doing the teleseminars and when I'm writing the books, and that's the great payoff. That's what's phenomenal.
Right. So sorry.
Yeah, fully. So I guess that's it, just fully aligned. And I'll tell you a little thing about what's interesting about that particular story is that I actually, when I was doing the motivational speaking, I wasn't really sure I wanted to be a motivational speaker. But I didn't know any other way to find out except to do it. Uh-huh. So I wrote a script. I had a lot of people give me feedback. I had someone who believed in me, and she was able to start booking me out at various venues, and I was doing it for several months. And as much as it was full of joy on many levels, especially like, wow, I conceived of this and I'm doing it. Like, that's so cool. That really felt good to me to have something come to fruition. But at the same time, in the back of my being, I was feeling, I don't feel like this is exactly what I'm going to be doing. It feels like there's this is sort of, but like there's more to it than quite this. And isn't it so interesting that then what would be presented, and I did nothing to acquire it, was this invitation to audition for something. Mm-hmm. And so I just felt like all of those things taken, it was just a perfect opportunity.
So if a person doesn't know, because we hear this a lot from people, the importance of setting goals, but they don't know. They don't know what they want to do. I want to do something. I'd like to do something with my life that feels good, that I love to get up in the morning, because we're getting a lot of, Debbie, the media saturation is about wake up to your living your best life and follow your dreams. And then you hear people all the time saying, but I don't have one, or I don't seem to, I don't know what that is. So is it more important then, rather than looking and seeking for that, to, if I'm hearing you right, it sounds like rather than pinpointing, I want to do this, like you said, I want to be a motivational speaker. No, it's I want to feel good. So is it more about the feeling? Because you said you didn't do anything to invite in that voiceover, but you, from my point of view, and a lot of people listening to my show get the energy aspect of it, but I feel like you did do something because you were in the energy and you were in alignment with that invitation coming to you. So you didn't do something consciously maybe, but you did do something.
It is about feeling, absolutely. It's about feeling, because if you were to write a list, you euphemistically or anybody out there, if you were to write a list of what you would like to experience, have, be, or do, even though you may be starting off the conversation or the idea, I don't know, the truth is you would. You may be writing down, I want to go whitewater rafting. I want to travel to South Africa. I want to go on a cruise. I want to know what it's like to work out at a boot camp every day. I want to take a class to learn how to be an author. All of a sudden, stuff would start pouring out of you, and where it comes from is something that connects with who you are in this moment, that just wants to have and experience that, and that is exactly how dreams are created. And the other piece of it is action is everything. We're not talking about wishes. And, one of the big issues with when The Secret came out and the law of attraction that people were missing, you kept hearing about affirmations and you kept seeing vision boards, which, by the way, I do every year, a vision board. But there was a piece missing because it seemed to be like I put my intention out there and all happens. Well, that's cool if you're looking for a parking space. But if you really want, if you want to go on a trip, if you want to create a new business, if you want a relationship, if you want to change your body, if whatever it is that lives in you that wants to be birthed, you need to take action. There are two things you need to do. One is to take action, and the other is to surrender. We take action because we're in human bodies on this planet, and if we want to bring something in, we have to do what it takes to acquire it. We also, on the other hand, surrender, totally different, and we purposely surrender because, there is so much that is waiting to come in to help us on our journey, but if we're so busy doing, then we're pushing away all that is waiting to help us. So if we will have that respite, that meditative state, that stillness, that I have done all I can and now I reconnect with the all that is and allow the winds of that magic to come in, and I'm telling you that things will happen that'll blow your mind. People will show up, experiences. So yes, it is about a feeling. Follow those feelings. Those will tell you what your dreams are, and that's plenty. It's enough. And once you know what you desire, then in order to acquire it, you do have to take action. And to get back to my original point, when they used the words law of attraction here's what's important about that real law that exists in vibrational energy. It has the word action in it. Action.
Right.
The law of attraction. So as we act, we bring to us that which we desire.
Right. And that is something that I think was really misunderstood. It was great that it came out, the book The Secret and the movie, because it got people thinking outside of the box somewhat. And so, but then there's always more in interpretation and learning how to apply them, which I think you've spoken to that very, very well. So did you, from your motivational speaker, and then you went on to start your own radio show, or you did your voiceover, and then that led you to your radio show. But now, along with doing your own radio show, you also do teleseminars and help people to learn how to get themselves on the radio and do an exquisite show and that kind of thing. So are you still doing that, Debbi?
Oh, boy, I am. In fact, tonight I'm going to be teaching another class. I love it. And I'm doing 3 different teleseminars. So, see, this is one, again, I didn't know how I would feel about this, but it was in my space because people kept coming to me, and I was noticing there were a lot of people out there in the professional world doing everything from A to Z, and they really wanted to get on the radio, and they had no clue how. And either they didn't know how to book shows, or they didn't know once they got on shows how to be an amazing radio interview guest, and the other piece was the tech. They didn't know how to put all that together. So I was coaching people on an individual basis. I realized it's so much easier if I do a teleclass. I keep the cost down, and it's fun for everybody. And that has then grown into, I'm about to do an author class and teach people about self-publishing and becoming not just a bestseller. Forget that. That's too little a dream. International bestseller. We're going for it. And then
fantastic.
Right?
That's fantastic. Yes, absolutely. Why sell yourself short? You're going to do
right.
it. Go.
It could be like universal bestseller. We could go there too. But yeah, I really want to teach people how to reach for the stars and get there. And the third one that we're about to start is about creating one's dreams into their reality. And I'm going to be doing those alone, but I've also aligned myself with this unbelievable master theta healer. She's so potent. And so I'll be handling like the spiritual pragmatics of creating dreams and taking everyone through it. And she'll be doing literal healings on the line with people. So the stuff will be cleared during every call. And I am so excited.
Well, that is exciting, and the thing is, you come at this from all aspects, the wholeness of the practical and the spiritual, and so you're working with energy, but you're also grounded in that how to apply these things. Because I think that's one of the things that we're finding a lot of is people have started to clue in that you're not choosing. I'm going to either be spiritual, give up all of the things that I love, and go live in a cave somewhere. They're starting to see that actually you can be totally fulfilled, totally in your spiritual essence, and have an awesome life. Like I get it. We're meant to be here in the material, so we're meant to have material things. Doesn't mean we have to be consumed by that, be unattached to it, but have it. You can still have it and have a healthy spiritual life. And it seems like you've connected these dots very nicely and are teaching that. Am I correct? Is that the kind of the roundness of it?
Well, thank you. That is a really high compliment, and I really received that. It's not anything that I have been doing mindfully, to be honest with you.
Right.
But I think it's fascinating. You are the second person who said that to me. I was having a conversation with a dear friend of mine, Dr. Dane here. He's the co-founder of Access Consciousness.
Right.
And I was having a conversation with him, and I was telling him about something I was interested in, and I wasn't really sure how to get that door open. And specifically, I was talking to him about television. So I have a sizzle reel, and I have a director and producer who's been working with me, and I'm really ready for it, really hungry for it, actually. And he looked at me and he said, do you know how mainstream you are? Do you know that you take the stuff that comes out of our mouths that not everybody can receive, but because you've got a way, in your books and in everything you do, everybody can handle it. I love what you said earlier before we got on the radio, Catherine, when you said Joe Citizen. That was hysterical. I've never heard that before, but it's really true. And, you know, I don't mindfully do it, but if that is something that is happening, and then I am thrilled. I am thrilled.
Well, I think
want men and women to come along on the journey.
Yeah, and I think it's you, because you're so close to it, because it's you, it's you're living your life. But when a lot of people who are in what I call, you know, self-help or you know, just really, there's a lot of us looking for a better way. And I always talk about, you know, creating an exquisite world. That's my kind of mission, is to have that, transforming the fear that we often have about life and move us into that place where we can really thrive. And you know, a lot of my listeners will be aware of that whole concept that we're not actually our bodies. Our bodies are a vehicle. And so when a person like yourself, who has achieved much success and clearly on the path to more, which is awesome and delicious, but when you are saying things in a way that is not just talking about energy, or not just talking about healing your chakras, or, you know, you're talking about doing it in the wholeness and then transforming that energy in an action kind of way to actually live your dreams. Now, that is powerful, and I agree with Dane here. I mean, that's exactly right. You're taking the woo-woo out of it, which is what I like to do too. Is, you know, bring it back to ground it and in a practical way, so people can actually know they can talk to Debbi and get some really practical, even though it may be based on spiritual, it's practical wisdom.
And you know, something that you just said, I want to go a little further with that. So I was alluding earlier about this TV show, and because I want people to understand, this is so important for me, that I deal with everybody with, I just have a lot of compassion. I have had every experience and then some that you probably have, so I get the obstacles, I get what comes up, I get what's uncomfortable, and I get what it's like to grow wings and fly and leap off the cliff anyway and have marvelous results. So I really have the amalgam of experience. And here's a great example. So this TV show, this has been going on for a while. So I would say at least 5 years. And now I am at the point where I've got the sizzle reel and the director and the producer. And now I do have a network that has expressed interest. But, you know, let's be honest. So what? You know, so what? Like, we could go out in the world and there's probably, I'm in Hollywood. You know, I'm in Los Angeles. How many people could probably, oh, yeah, you know, I'm in talks with blah, blah, blah. And it's like, unless it's a contract that's signed, let's be honest. You know, I'm not going into a studio tomorrow with my own orchestra and my own people showing up and a mic. And so there's one thing I know. Do I desire it? Yes. Have I taken action steps? Yes. When my director calls me and wants a meeting and la la la, do I show up? Oh, absolutely, 100%. So all of that's true. But guess what else I do? I keep moving forward in my life. Yes. If I stopped everything and put all my energy in this one project, frankly, I think it would destroy me. I really do. I think it's too much focus, and it's not. It doesn't move as quickly as I'd like to. I'm much faster than this project has been. But
you're bringing up a really good point about how often this is where we do sometimes sabotage ourselves in our dreams, is because we pick like one thing. So yeah, okay, you've got this idea, you're going to do this TV show, and so you stop doing radio, you stop doing everything else, and you sit there and focus on I'm doing this TV show, and it never happens. And in fact, it probably wouldn't happen because the energy that you've been bringing to the whole thing came from all the things you were doing that you loved. Yeah. So your energy would change. And I think a lot of people, it's like, I have a dream, I quit my job, and I decided to pursue my dream, but the money never came, and now I'm living on the street. Well, you know, we're putting the emphasis on not that the dream isn't going to come true, but being real. I mean, that's what the show's all about, being real. And that is what you're talking about. Really, you're still working on your books. You're still doing teleseminars. You're still doing your radio, right?
Yep, all of it. And I'll even say the other day I had a conversation with my web tech, and he's really great at what he does. He just runs the whole web operation for me. And before we hung up, he said, you know what you'd be amazing at? And he had this idea, and I went, And I always know when somebody says something, I usually get a pretty strong or excitement.
Yeah.
And I felt like, oh, I could do that. And that's different. It's unique. And so now that's kind of a seed that's been planted. So again, I'm not going to wait for this TV show. When it's ready to happen, am I in? 100%. Am I ready? 100%. Because I'm doing, and also, that's the other piece, everything I am doing, teleseminars, teaching, keynotes, books, radio show, this with you, everything that has me continually engaged, will it help me once I have an audience and I'm in front of the camera? You bet. So I just keep moving forward. If it never creates, I will absolutely know that I did everything I possibly could. And if it does, well, then we'll be ready to rock and roll.
I remember the first time that I was asked to do a public speaking, and I had never done it before, and I hadn't a clue if I could or I couldn't. I knew it was something I was passionate about. It was in politics at the time, and people had, just like you, sort of said, you know, this is something you would be good at. This is something, not only that, we need you, and you've got a message, and so can you do this? So they handed me a microphone, and I began to speak, and everyone in the room was like, take the mic away from her. Like, she doesn't need a mic. This is like, and so it was powerful for me to see. But it's again what you were saying about, I didn't know that, and that actually, if I look at my life, trickle it, forward, is how I ended up in radio. I got out of politics eventually, and then followed my voice that I didn't even know was possible. I didn't know that I had that enthusiasm. So I love that you're really making it clear that you're not saying your life's going to end if you don't get this TV show. You're saying you keep doing the other things, keep looking after yourself, keep doing the things that actually have made Debbi that enthusiastic, energized woman who, when a director is ready, they're going to see you because you're out there. You're still doing, right?
Yes.
And that's very important. I just think it's so key in, you could be, and you said something that also was tweaked me about people, like, I'm really wanting to share this in a way that people can really get that they too can realize their dreams. And that's what I love about these seminars that you do. They're for everybody, right?
Everybody, yes.
Okay. So if a person is thinking, they're listening to this show and they're saying, wow, this woman has got it. I hear what she's saying. I'm really feeling like, yes, I want that practical stuff. I don't care about the woo-woo anymore. I just want the practical stuff. Because most people don't. They don't think about it that way. And the way you implement it, they don't even know that they're working with energy because of the practicalness of what you're saying, which is funny to me. Sorry, I just find it amusing because this is how I see this, what you're doing, as the wave of the future. When people will get to the point where they have that conscious understanding, it's kind of like the way we drive our cars, that's just our world right now, and eventually we might not need cars. We'll be doing something else, and it just becomes the norm. But at the beginning, we have this two worlds, people working with energy, working with spirituality, and then we have the other, okay, here's the classroom, here's the tools, you need this to go ahead. And you just made this beautiful blend, and it's just, like you said, you weren't even conscious of it because it's just natural. Working with all of the tools. And I love it, Debbi. I just love it. I'm very excited about everything that you're doing.
Yay. For anybody who feels, okay, you know, I do have dreams. There are things, if I wrote them on a list, it would be really nice to experience this year. Just make it about this year. It doesn't have to be a lifelong one. It's really about getting up every day and deciding what you're going to do to generate the desires. Like, I'm going to sign the contract. I'm going to put on a nice outfit instead of wearing my sweats every day. I'm going to sell my house. I'm going to travel to India. I'm going to commit to the relationship of my dreams. It's about taking steps. It's doing the big and the small, the micro, the macro. It's actually very practical. Mm-hmm. And again, I always suggest take action, let go. Take action, surrender. And just figure out what do you need to have, be, and do in the world to experience like the core of your dreams. If you could have anything, maybe it's and understand for all of us, sometimes we don't just arrive there. There are steps like I need to take her teleseminar. I need to read that book. I need to climb that mountain. I need to love this man. Take that workshop. And that's how you start to align yourself with what your goals are. The journey getting there is actually a sacred time when you start turning inside of yourself and recognize, I am worthy. Mm-hmm. I am important. It is good and okay and deserving that I experience these things, whatever that means for me. Just to be the magical, incredible being that you came here to be. And part of what you put out into the world is when you create your dreams, then you really let it shine.
Exactly. And the other thing is that often, within my experience, the universe uses those longings within us to take us on the path. Like, you may have a longing to take this course, this teleseminar, or read this book. And so you go to the bookstore, but you also have a desire that you want to meet the person of your dreams in a personal relationship. So, but it's the longing for the book to help you with your career that has taken you to that particular bookstore, and lo and behold, who do you bump into but somebody that, you know, you start up a conversation, and next thing you know, boom, boom, boom. Those are the synchronistic gems of life. So when you follow what you love, it makes sense. The things that's, to me, that's how the universe works, is that creating that little giggle inside that you say, oh my gosh, I just have to do this. And you don't know why, you just do it. And then all of a sudden, doors open and so forth. And the thing about it is, Debbie, when I read your bio, I mean, you're doing things in a kind of an entertaining way, so it's kind of an entertainment thing. You're doing voiceovers, you're looking at TV, and you've got radio, and you've got books. But this isn't just for, like, just to make sure that people understand, you're not just the coach to the stars. You're talking about real people in their real, the person who's, you know, listening to this and has got 2 kids behind them, and they're trying to figure out how they're going to pay the rent, and they want to move into a better life for themselves. Am I right?
You're right. You're absolutely right. I'll tell you, I just spoke recently at the Los Angeles Conscious Life Expo. It's huge. I mean, it's the biggest expo worldwide. And I had a lovely audience that I spoke to, and sitting right up front was a woman. She's an author, and just lovely little creature was sitting there. And she contacted me a couple of weeks after the expo, and she said, you know, when you did your keynote, you took us through this exercise, and in the exercise we got to figure out what our dream was, and we also got to write down some very important stuff. So she said, I just wanted to let you know that I wrote down that I wanted a relationship. I think if I were to guess, she's probably in her 60s. And she wrote down that she wanted to have a relationship. In the meantime, she had a book signing herself at the expo. So she went down to do the book signing. She goes, you know, Debbie, that I sat there, and nobody came for my book signing. But what she wrote on her card was she was ready for a relationship. Only one person came the whole hour she sat there, and it was a man who said to her, I heard you speak, and I just have to tell you that I would love to get to know you and take you out on a date. And she was flabbergasted. She thought, oh my God, I just came from Debbie's workshop. You know? And she's so cute, and apparently they've exchanged all these emails and are going to meet, and I was, you know, thrilled.
Yes.
the matchmaker keynote. So.
But that's how life really happens. I mean, that's the truth, isn't it? When you're following your excitement and your joy and just doing what comes naturally, you don't know what other things, like a lot of times we tend to be a little narrow visioned, you know, we kind of see there's the TV show, I want that. And so we're not going for groceries in the meantime, which would actually make us bump into the director that was, you know, had us on their mind. Like all those little things. I mean, that's just a random example, but that's how life really happens.
It is how life really happens, and that's why I always say take action and then let go. It's in the letting go. It's in the going to the supermarket. It's in the doing the errands. It's in the, you know, wherever you end up going that you will make that connection you could never have anticipated. And your dreams actually lead you to the greatness and the contribution. You came here to be in the world. Yeah. Stop trying to figure everything out. Just start. Allow, receive everything. Do whatever it takes. You know, whatever it takes. Are you worth it? Of course you are. Do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Because right now, there is abundance all around you, all around every one of us. There's so much abundance if we will tap into it. And guess what? We're not the first ones at this. We didn't kickstart this dream baby, you know, this accomplishing goals. Really, in each and every era, unconventional, brave, daring souls doubted themselves. They had dreams, but they're like, I don't think this could happen. And they started to execute them, and they were criticized. They struggled to forge a channel for their genius. And those who succeeded, ultimately, why did they succeed? Because they trusted their creativity. They trusted their vision. They trusted their truth, that energy we're talking about, which is really a motivated desire. They trusted in their dream that did not even exist yet. They jumped in and they turned the beat around, and the ripples of choice and change were fully created.
Exactly. And the thing is, I love what you're saying, Debbi, because it's so personal. It doesn't depend on whether or not society accepts your dream or says you can do it this way. That's what you're talking about. It, you know, before it's done, you know, there's this kind of a saying, and I'm not sure who the quote belongs to, but, you know, that when you first start saying things, people think will call you crazy, and then once you actually achieve whatever it was you were talking about that thought you were crazy, then they think you're a genius. And that's how it is. That's really the truth of how life works, stepping into it.
So much so.
So, Debbi, people are, now, I'm not really sure where you're located. You're in California, are you?
I am, yes. I'm in Los Angeles.
Awesome. So, but the beauty is people don't have to be there. They can connect with you online, which is why you have all these wonderful tools online.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've worked with people in Italy, in Netherlands, in Spain, and all over the world, all over the United States. Absolutely. I mean, how technology today makes it possible, and it's even beyond Skype. Of course, Skype is possible, but all these webinars and teleseminars, and it's amazing what can be done and how deeply you can still connect with people. And I really love it.
I do too. I think it's what's changing the world, really, because we're getting to know each other, which is, to me, a big key. And the other thing we didn't go into a lot of detail, you mentioned it a couple of times about your books, because that's another way that people can connect with your teachings if they're maybe not wanting to do a teleseminar right now. Where can they get your books, Debbi?
They can go to my website. Everything's on my website at DeborahDachinger.com, DeborAh, D as in David, Achinger, DeborahDachinger.com. And everything is there under products, the store, as well as Amazon. If you correctly type in my last name, Dachinger, you'll also see my brother's a composer, so you'll see his music there, but then you'll see my books. They are both bestsellers, and they got rave reviews in USA Today and rave reviews in Writer's Digest, and they've won awards for Motivational Book of the Year. And I highly recommend them if you would like, in a sense, a companion that you can read. And it's very interesting. I meet people all the time, and some of them say, oh, my God, I couldn't put your book down. I just kept reading and reading. I got so much. I know somebody... She's actually a celebrity. She would call me and say, I keep having to pull up the side of the road because I'm crying because some of the pieces touch her like exactly what she's thinking about or feeling, and that's wonderful. And some people say, I keep it by my bed, and I will every day or night just open it up, and whatever it says, I know that's meant for me, and I'll take that to heart, and I'll create a day around that, and, whatever that's guiding me to do. So it can be used a lot of different ways, and they are both incredibly different and very, very complementary books.
Well, and the one is Wisdom to Success, and the other...
first book, Dare to Dream, This Life Counts, was the first book, and soon thereafter we gave birth to Wisdom to Success, The Surefire Secrets to Accomplish All Your Dreams.
Nice. Really, really. I mean, I love that there are options because, some people are visual, some people are audio, some people like to read, some people like to watch videos or participate in groups. We all have our own way of doing things, and the beauty is there's so many options available, so it doesn't matter which, it's not just structured, it's this loose, beautiful flow that you can step into it wherever you're at and move into living your dreams. And plus, you have a lot of free videos that are really motivational, too. I listen to them sometimes. They just honestly get me so pumped. It's like I want to just jump up and hug you. It's like, whoa, listen, let's do it. Yes, let's do it right now.
That's awesome. Virtual hug, honey.
That's right.
I like to give things away, Catherine. I really do, because I just want people to know that there's help, and I want to give them some ideas and suggestions. I have tons of PDFs and audios also that I give away on my website that people can go and collect for free and, instantly will get in their email box. So it really, it is also about being of service. And you're not alone. You're never alone. If I just happen to figure this piece out and get a recipe here, well, I'm more than happy to share it with you.
Oh, and I love recipes. That's why I talk about what's cooking and such, because that's how I feel. Like we need, for this recipe to create an exquisite world, we need every single part, every single person's ingredient. Every single person has that part. Otherwise, it's not going to turn out. We need it. It's like, missing a certain spice in a recipe or missing a base ingredient. We need it all. And so that's why I love to encourage people to step into their dreams, but also to help them to see that there's tools available. So you're not alone, like as you say, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So Debbie, any last words before we leave people with this? I've thoroughly enjoyed this chat. I think I could talk to you for days, which would be lovely, and maybe someday. I hear you're going on a cruise. Is that something you want to share with people?
Well, I've been asked to speak on this cruise. It's Speakers at Sea, and we're going to the Caribbean. And that's also on my website, just to keep it super easy. Anybody who wants to come can just click on that, and it's all transformational thought leaders who are speaking, but it's a regular cruise too. They stop at ports, and I've never done one of those, so I was thrilled. Dr. Susan Shumsky invited me, and there's a lot of other really nice names that I'm going to get to hang out with for those 5 days. Yeah, so go to DeborahDachinger.com if you want. And as far as what I'd like people to leave with, just figure out what you want, write that list like I said, whatever you'd like to experience. And once you do, learn how to ask for it. Just learn how to ask out there and of you for whatever it takes. And acknowledge your uniqueness. Don't just dare to dream, dare to make all your dreams your reality.
That's beautiful. It's not magic. You're not a specific blessed person. It can be for everyone, right?
Every person. We're all here for a reason. So whatever your unique makeup is, acknowledge your magnificent self many times every day, and know that you're worth it. You're worth fulfilling all your dreams.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I wish you every success, Debbie, and just keep spreading the word, because it's contagious. I mean, if you need to get pumped up, I just check out Debbie's YouTube channel, and you'll be ready to go. Better than coffee, Debbie.
Yeah, my YouTube channel, for anyone who's interested, is Deb on the Radio, DEB on the Radio, one word, youtube.com/Deb on the Radio. And there's a lot of years of free short, inspiring videos, all of them on totally different subjects about moving you forward, so you can have fun. I'm goofy, and I just let it roll whenever the camera rolls.
I know, and I love that. I love you're just being yourself and having fun, and your sense of humor is fantastic. So it's lovely. I love it.
Thank you, and thank you so much for having me on today. This is really joyful.
Yes, it has been for me too, and I absolutely look forward to meeting again in person. And until next time, take care.
I sure will. You do as well.
All right. All right, and that will end our show for today. Thank you so much for joining us, and stay tuned to the YouTube channel, to the website, lgrcc.com. Don't forget to share the links and help empower your friends to know more about what's available and really make your dreams come true. Until next time, take care.
Isn't that amazing? Thank you to my guests for sharing with us today. Thank you for watching. Feel free to share the link. You can join us for live shows by going to letsgetrealchattinwithkatherine.com and listen to the replays from the show page, preview guests, and explore links to our Facebook fan page, WordPress blog, and more. We are creating an exquisite world. Until next time, take care.